All right, guys, we got Coach Bolt. Cam Wynn will be up after Coach Bolt's done. We'll start off with questions. Evan Bland.
Morning, Will.
Morning.
I'm just curious, when there's momentum externally surrounding the program with rankings and postseason projections and things, where's the line that you guys walk between getting caught up in all that hype and just pretending it doesn't exist?
Yeah, I don't think there's really any way to pretend it doesn't exist. I think it's very tangible at this point where you're getting we're getting more people that are allowed to come to the stadium. So there's talk of getting 6,000 people at the games. You start getting in the home stretch where the weather's good, and we have more home games that we're going to be playing here down the stretch as well. And there's things that are goals that we've had since the day these guys step foot on campus, as far as hosting regionals and winning the league and those type of things. So those are all things that we don't necessarily harp on every day, but you also you're not going to act like it doesn't exist either. So I think the message is it's just consistent as it's been all year long. It's like we just got to show up each day, and as boring as it may sound, just be good that day. Just have a good practice. Just have just show up and play our style of baseball every given day, so you don't just make too much of what's the noise that's going on outside of the program.
When you guys play a team on consecutive weekends like you are now with Rutgers coming up here, are you as a coach, do you have any considerations you keep in the back of your mind for this series looking ahead to next week, or do you just do what you do and worry about later when it comes?
Yeah, you can't really, you're not going to hold anything back, just thinking, well, if we just don't show them something this weekend, we can surprise them, at their place. That's not really, I don't think, a recipe for success. I think we're preparing for Friday to go win Friday's game, to, Povich to get us off to a great start, hand it off to our great bullpen, and figured we can score enough runs to get the job done. So that's really the only thing that we're focused on, is just finding a way to win Friday, and then whatever we got to do to win Friday, we'll do that, and then we'll regroup the next day. And again, I think that's really the only way to go about it when you start thinking about big picture, or hey, if we just do this, or we don't, we've got this ace in the hole. It's just you start out thinking it a little bit, as opposed to just saying, hey, we're going to give you what we got today, and then we'll move on to the next day after that.
Chris Bassnett.
Well, is there a common thread you've seen among your bullpen guys with the streak they've been on recently, with the number of scoreless innings in a row, or what do you think's allowed them to kind of have the success they've had over the past few weeks?
Yeah, I think they're competing with conviction. Each time they take the ball, there's no thought about what might happen. No thought of failing, or no thought of, hey, the game's on the line. Oh no, I better get the job done here. They're just in compete mode. Honestly, that's what I've seen from all the guys we've handed the ball off, that have gotten the job done in the bullpen. It's not hoping and wishing. It's here's what I got. This is my best stuff, and you're going to have to beat me with. I'm going to give my best stuff. I'm not going to worry about what you're doing or what the situation might be in the game. Being aware of the situations, obviously, if you need to punch out here, in a certain spot, but they've just been very confident in what they're doing. You have to have a certain mentality, I think, to pitch in those situations too, where you're not going to make too much of it. You're not going to get too caught up in, the oh no's, the what ifs. You just got to take the ball and say, hey, it's go time. And so that's what those guys have done. They've all done a really good job of that. You've obviously got to throw strikes. That's been a big part of it too, just getting ahead and being able to finish hitters off that way. And they've got great stuff. I mean, we've got the guys that we're rolling out there on a consistent basis have got really good stuff, so that helps as well.
I know Buns and Schwallenbach get a lot of the attention there, but you have a guy like Cody Frank who comes in and throws really well for you on the weekend, and obviously Cam Wynn's been really good for you. What have you maybe seen from those guys that maybe aren't going out there every day, but they're still ready to go? A guy like Cody who's ready to go when his number's called.
Yeah, and we went a couple of weeks there without Cody even throwing, and which is just crazy to think about how valuable he is to our staff. And he's a guy we feel like can turn the lineup over, and he did that and gave us a big hold there on Sunday. He's throwing strikes. He's mixing his pitches. He's always been an elite strike thrower. That's what he did all through junior college. He didn't win as many games as he did, and for a program as good as his, without being an elite strike thrower, because it's not going to be 95. He's gonna rely on movement and his ability to execute pitches. So he's doing that at a high level. He's got the changeup going. He's got the slider going. His misses aren't as big as they were maybe early. He's just more confident probably. He wants the ball every day. His arm, he's built that way. He's prepared that way. And we wouldn't hesitate to do that. And we've given him as many appearances as anybody. And some of his may be a little bit shorter, but I think he can give us 3 outings in one weekend in high leverage spots and get us off the field each time. That's how much confidence we have in what he brings. So, those guys have done a really good job. And again, if we feel like if our starters can give us, some quality innings there, the guys that we're handing it off to the back end are going to bring great mentality and great stuff.
Kelsey Casper.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned more fans at Haymarket. Just how excited are you guys to even allow more fans into the stadium? And how difficult is it for visiting teams to come to Nebraska and play in front of that many Husker fans?
Yeah, I've said it before. I mean, the reason a lot of us are here is just because of how special the fan base is and just how behind all of the sports that they get. And so it's exciting. I mean, it's something that, we have this beautiful ballpark. We have, the great fan base to back it up. And so they fill the berms, they fill the stands. It sounds like this weekend that we're going to have, we could have 6,000 people here. So I know it's just the last year and what it's brought us. It's been such a strange year for all athletics. I mean, playing in empty stadiums and having to really create your own energy and enthusiasm. I mean, having the fans behind you. It adds a lot, and our guys are really thankful. We're really thankful for our administration for being supportive of having people in the stands, the city of Lincoln, that we can get this safely done, and have the support that these guys deserve. Honestly, we're excited about it. And as far as a home field advantage, I mean, I think the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, I think we feed off of it. We feed off the crowd. I know the opposing team, because it's something maybe they haven't been used to, when they've got the adrenaline going at times and our fans are clapping with 2 strikes on a hitter, maybe they get a little more sped up, those type of things. So again, at the end of the day, it always comes down to what you're doing in between the lines, but certainly having the Husker fans there behind us is something that our guys are excited about.
Michael Bruntz.
Well, the guys that you've kind of leaned on your bullpen this year are new guys. I mean, aside from Spencer, I mean, is that, I guess, getting kind of veteran guys that come in and help you right away? Was that really a priority for you guys in the off season? And I mean, have they kind of been what you had hoped they would be?
Yeah, that was priority number one, quite honestly. I mean, we recognized that in the 15-game season last year that we were, I don't remember what the numbers were exactly, but I think we were leading in probably like 12 of the 15 games after the 5th inning last year, and just couldn't finish them off. I didn't feel like we had, the necessary pieces to help us kind of finish those things off and help your offense kind of run away with it late in the game. And so that was priority number one, quite honestly, for us as a staff, was just to try to reassemble the bullpen a little bit, or the pitching staff in general, and just give us more options. Guys that, again, you don't have to be perfect when you've got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You don't have to be perfect all the time, when you've got the wipeout slider that can make up for some things where you can get some chase. And, guys have to get it started a little bit earlier to get to the – so certain, those guys have all been big, and a lot of them have had college experience before. They're a little bit older. In Buns' case, he was coming off an injury, but we knew he was going to be great stuff. We didn't know he was going to be a bullpen guy necessarily, but his demeanor and his mindset has kind of thrived in that spot. And we knew Wynn was going to be a guy that's a high leverage guy with great stuff. That's, he's a senior in college by now. So he's seen a lot, been in the SEC, and, he stepped right in been great. And like you said, Frank, JC transfer there, and Spence pitching for the first time has obviously been huge. I mean, he's a guy that, at the end of the games, everybody feels pretty confident that the job's going to get done. So feel pretty good about how we've been able to finish the backside of games here.
With Rutgers, what challenge do they present, I guess, in the weekend that they had, last weekend? Does that kind of, catch your guys' attention a little bit more too?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be a formidable opponent for sure. And I think what Coach Owens brings and his teams is that mental toughness. Is that they're not going to back down. They're not going to be afraid of competition. They're going to come in and expect to win. So yeah, they had a great weekend last weekend. I mean, they've won a lot of games this year. Maybe surprised some people that way. I'm not surprised at all. I think they have a pretty good roster. I know they've added some of those veteran pieces on the mound as well. That's kind of helped propel them to win more series. They've got some dynamic freshmen in their lineup. They're a little bit similar to us in a lot of ways, where they've added some veteran pitching. They've got some really good freshmen that have stepped up offensively for them. They've got some guys that are veterans that are having nice seasons, and they've got some thump in the lineup. I mean, they're second in the league in home runs. So yeah, they're going to come in and they're not going to be intimidated. They're going to be ready to play, and so we're going to have to play at a high level to get it done. And again, I say that every week, but that's the truth. I mean, we've got to play at a high level if we want to have a chance to win.
Kevin Suits.
Hey, well, beyond the record of the Big Ten standing, I'm just curious, how much fun are you having? Because after all, this is just your second season back at your alma mater.
I'm having a blast, and the team that we have it's such a fun group of guys. They make it fun to come to practice every day. I've made mention of this before, but our leadership and our older guys make it such to where we don't have to focus on poor attitudes or guys that are selfish, or guys that are prima donnas, or their egos are too big to do something, to show up and take care of the little details day in, day out. That allows the coaching staff to focus on just coaching baseball. And that makes our jobs a lot more fun that way. When we show up to the yard and the guys are ready to prepare, they enjoy playing baseball together. It's been a lot of fun, and that's been the consistent message with this group this year too, is, with what happened last year and, the uncertainty we had no idea what the schedule was going to look like until right before the season started. We're going to have a great attitude about it. We're going to take it head on. We don't always have to like everything that happens, but if we have a great attitude about it, then we have a chance to have great results. And so it's been fun. It's been a fun group. We got a lot of work left to do. But having that type of mindset down the stretch is going to benefit us if we continue to do that.
All right, last one, Evan Bland.
Well, just wanted to ask about how Kyle Perry was coming along, and if you have a clearer sense of what his impact might be for the bullpen down the stretch.
Yeah, he's still in bullpen mode. He's thrown, I believe, 3 bullpens now. Felt pretty good. We're just going to kind of see where he's at as far as throwing to live hitters. I mean, we're going to have him get at least a couple of outings against live hitters before we can even think about getting him on the mound. When we do that, he's going to have a little more adrenaline than he has in the bullpen. We'll kind of see where the velocity's at, where the slider's at, where the command is at. It's a whole other beast getting out there and having to throw to hitters versus just throwing in a bullpen setting. So we'll evaluate all those things once we do get to that point. Could be something where we play these 4-game weekends coming up. We're going to maybe need an inning out of somebody that's unexpected, and whether that's him or somebody else that hasn't gotten a lot of innings remains to be seen. But don't know exactly what his timetable is until we see him face some live hitters.
Okay, that's it for Coach Bolt.
Thank you.